Hi, everybody. I'm Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm Jim Kerr.
Welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame. Well, Jim, let's kick off the show with the Edmonton Oilers. They're slumping pretty heavy right now. Every game that they lose is basically worth 2 normal games on an elongated season. Jim, why are they losing so much?
Well, yeah, like you say, in the shortened season here, every game is a little more important. You're playing a lot more division games. Those are always, of heavy importance come the end of the season. It might have to do, though, with the team losing like 100 centers.
Yeah.
Every game, someone gets hurt in the last little while here. That's been a problem for the Oilers, and it's just, it's something that happens in pro sports. It's something you can't get around. The last 2-3 years, though, it's been a big problem for the Oilers. They've been okay for the most part so far. I guess the silver lining in all of this is that they're not losing necessarily top 6 forwards. It seems to be guys in the bottom 6 that are getting hurt. That's if it's not the best situation, but it's better than having your Halls and your Eberles hurt. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins missed a game or so there, but he's back in the lineup. He's playing pretty well. The thing is, even strength, they're struggling to score goals, and that's what most of the game is.
That's something we never thought the Oilers were going to go through this year, right? Like, we thought for sure they would be an offensive powerhouse, lose a lot of 6-5 games, but still win. So It's amazing that they're not scoring anything at even strength.
And I guess it's all about how you spin it, too, because they're not scoring a lot of even strength goals, but they're not playing bad at even strength. They're not playing bad at all this season, despite the fact that they're losing games. But they're a very competitive team. They're right there.
Yeah.
And at the moment, maybe they're not getting the bounces. I think they would just hope that turns around, keep doing what they're doing, try not to change too much. They're giving up a lot of shots. That's one thing that's a little bit concerning for me. Is they're giving up a lot of shots, but they're getting strong goaltending. Now, you have to hope that keeps up, I suppose. Defense has been a bit of a struggle for them, but not too bad. I mean, having Ryan Whitney as a healthy scratch this past week was a bit interesting. A lot of people calling for his head. You look on Twitter during an Oilers game or just after an Oilers game, there's people talking about buying him out and he's not the same player he was when he came to the team. That might be true. He's had a ton of injuries since coming to the Oilers. And when he first arrived on the scene, it was like, oh, yes, we've got our franchise defenseman. Didn't really turn out that way. But they are getting strong performances from, Justin Schultz.
Yeah.
I've been happy with how Petry's played this year. But again, they're right there in these games. They're on the cusp. They're losing close games. But they're losing, and that's unfortunately what matters at the end of the day. So I think as long as they keep going in the right direction, the direction they're heading in at the moment, this thing will turn around. It's too early to sound the alarm yet, but I don't know if there's an aspect. The forwards are playing well, the defense is playing quite well, I would say, and they're getting strong goaltending. Happy Bullen played great against the Red Wings. Yeah,
played really well.
So it's kind of usually there's a glaring thing you can look at and say, oh, well, there's the problem right there. But I don't know if that's the case right now. And even strength play is a big one, but even at that, it's not like they're getting. It doesn't seem, anyways, that they're getting dominated or they're really bad at even strength. They're just taking some time for to start getting those bounces.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the New York Islanders for a bit. We don't do that often on this show. They had 2 big stories this week.
Yeah, they picked up troubled goalie Tim Thomas for a second-round conditional draft pick. It's a salary cap deal that's going to bring the Islanders up to the cap floor. Thomas won't play for them.
No.
He's already said he's sitting out this year. Let's not even get into that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because he's a bit off.
He's a little
off
crazy.
rocker, maybe.
Yeah.
Seems like. But they've got a penchant for picking up players that don't want to play. Lubo Wisnowski showed up for the team this week, so that panned out for them.
That's nice.
We thought he'd never, end up playing for the Islanders. In fact, since he was traded there, he's been trying to get out of the gig for the entire time. They suspended him, I think. They lifted the suspension. He's back. The Tim Thomas pick is conditional on him playing, so
yeah,
that's just not going to happen.
It's just not going to happen. There's no way Tim Thomas comes back, especially to play with the Islanders. It's just not
interesting to see Boston get rid of him, though.
Yeah,
totally. It's kind of interesting
because he was their big hero for especially when they won the cup. Like everything was on him. So yeah, it's interesting there. And
then the question becomes next year: A, does he want to come back and play somewhere? B, does anyone take him?
Oh,
you wouldn't sign him to more than a 1 or 2 year deal, I wouldn't think. Casey decides to go off on a journey again and not come back. So but at the same time, not everyone's going to pass up on that. He's still a good goalie.
Well, that's exactly it.
Maybe after a year off, he's not as good. Who knows? But
I was surprised.
Strange stuff.
I was surprised Lubomir Wisnowski came back at all. I thought he was going to stay in the KHL, even though it was against the transfer agreement those two have, the KHL and the NHL have. But I didn't think he was coming back. Yeah,
that's a strange story, but maybe there's some push on either side to say like, hey man, we got this deal, we can't have you playing here, so if you want to play, you got to play there.
Totally.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
It's a complete weird one. A huge scandal erupted in European soccer this week. I guess it's been going on for a little while, but it really broke this week. Europol, which is a European police agency, has alleged that there were 380 Champions League games that have been fixed, Jim.
That's wild. They've been investigating for 18 months. They feel the fixed matches are the work of a suspected organized crime syndicate based in Asia. Nearly 400 fixed matches.
Right.
What do you even... Wow. And the funny thing is that I think a lot of these are in the early stages, right? So I think the way they're able to fix matches is they maybe do it to games where there won't be much of an eye on it. Like Manchester United, Real Madrid, if there's some kind of betting abnormality,
you're going to notice
that'll be picked up right away. But if it's, whoever against some other team, there's still money to be made, and there's probably not as much of an eye on the situation. So that's crazy though, and that's very, very suspicious. If there's that many games that they know of being fixed, you wonder, is that the tip of the iceberg, so to speak? Are there hundreds more?
Totally.
And in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of storylines around fixing games, even right down to cricket. But it's a big money thing, and I'd be worried that there's more to this.
I always wonder, because they didn't get into in the story about how the games were fixed or like how people were fixing the games. I always wonder, like, to do that many, is it like, do they have the refs in their pockets? Do they like have the players in their pockets? A little bit of both. I wonder what's happening there.
Yeah, and even I know with that cricket one, the way that it was kind of under the radar is that it wasn't necessarily the outcome of the match that was fixed. It would be like something that people bet, like an aspect of the game that people bet on.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it's I don't know, cricket stuff. So we'll pretend it's soccer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's so and so will get a red card in this game or a yellow card, or there'll be X number of this thing happening. That type of stuff where it may not affect the outcome of the game, but you're still doing it for the purpose of making some. So it's tough to know, whether it's just full scale, like this team's gonna win, or if it's, because I know in other parts of the world you can bet on anything.
Yeah, that's right, and that's probably what it is. You're right. Yeah.
But still, the fact that they can get players,
crazy.
Maybe organizations, usually where there's a couple little things in situations like this, you dig a little bit, and you see all of a sudden the president of this club is, so it'd be interesting to see when more stuff comes out about this. This can be our new NFL bounty.
Yeah,
now that that's all sorted out.
I think that would be interesting. Well, some bad news for the face of skiing, at least in the United States, Jim.
Yeah, I hurt myself this weekend.
Yeah, that was you. That's right.
So there's that. But also, the better-looking face than mine, Lindsey Vonn crashed at a Super G World Championship event this week. The Olympic gold medalist tore both her MCL and ACL ligaments. Might make it back for the Sochi Olympics, which is exactly a year from now. We know those injuries can take a long time to recover from. especially when you're dealing with more than one. It's tough because Vaughn's one of the faces of the U.S. Olympic team, one of the faces of that entire sport.
That's right.
And rightfully so. She's a fantastic athlete and has had a ton of success. We talked about her earlier in the show about when she was trying to race against men. And I don't think that worked out for her, but I'm sure it will at some point. But that just shows you how much of a star of the sport she is. So to see this, that's real tough.
That is, especially going a year. Yeah, a year is a long time, but it's got to be a year for her to have the surgery, rehab, get back up to the level she was at before. I mean, that's going to be really tough. So
I mean, if you or I hurt ourselves
right.
and we had to get back up to the level we were at before,
right?
I'll be honest, it wouldn't take that long.
No big deal. No big deal.
We'd probably come back stronger,
right?
Just because they'd be like, "Oh, here's okay, we'll fix you up. You're good to go." Someone that's an elite athlete.
Right. For us, it's a couple of beers and hot dogs and you're back in the game. But
yeah, unless it was like something to do with our good looks. We had to nurse ourselves back to – that might take years.
Tough. That's tough. It would be devastating injuries. That's anything here to the money
and
maker.
Not devastating for us necessarily.
No,
devastating for the –
Of course not.
For the tens in attendance and hundreds watching worldwide.
That's exactly right. Well, let's give our tens. Oh, man, that worked out really well. Let's give those who are watching and listening what they came here for, paid their money for. These are the GABBYs, folks, good and bad by you. Let's give a good to European soccer. We spent a lot of time talking about player salaries in the NHL lately, but soccer is here to let us know that hockey's really not that bad. UEFA says losses by top division clubs tripled over 5 years to $2.3 billion with a B, Jim. And the cost of paying players jumped 40% to $11.2 billion. So much for the, financial fair play rules.
Yeah, it's cute that they tried to bring those in and if you don't follow them, we'll suspend you for the major tournaments.
Yeah.
But then no one followed them or no one really it was supposed to be a couple years and then you had to have it. And then they've been threatening and they've been but it doesn't really seem like that's really working a whole lot for them.
That.
Yeah. $11.2 billion, man.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I picked the wrong sport. I'm really good at lying down and acting hurt.
There you go.
I could do that. I could do that for 14 hours.
And for half the money.
Hey,
right.
Yeah. Maybe I should send a tape around, a highlight tape.
How good
show
you
what
are
I can
on
do.
the field.
Yeah. I can run 10 yards,
injuries.
fall, and grab my knee.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. How about a good to Kevin Garnett, who hit the 25,000-point mark this past week? KG becomes the 16th player in NBA history to reach that plateau, but is likely number one in terms of intimidation. Remember when he made a guy named Big Baby cry on the bench?
Yeah.
Guy is scary.
He is very scary and very, very intense. Intense.
You know why he gets so many points? Because the ball is trying to get out of his hands.
Yeah. It's like, get as far away from Kevin Garnett as possible.
Exactly.
That's funny. And finally, a good to the mascot of the ECHL's Bakersfield Condors, which is an actual condor, so that's kind of cool. Caused a bit of trouble at a recent game, surprise, surprise, when it got loose during the national anthem. Made its way around the arena, scaring the crap out of everyone. Thankfully, they eventually got it under control, but that's both hilarious. Well, no, actually, it's just hilarious because nobody got hurt. But if somebody got hurt, that would have been both hilarious and tragic.
And tragic, yeah. Tragic. Hey, Jeff, do you know what the ECHL stands for? Just a small trivia fact.
East Coast Hockey League?
Stands for ECHL.
Really?
There are no words associated with those letters anymore.
I didn't
Used
know
to be
that,
the East Coast Hockey League. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
So, there's your fun fact. The more you know.
The more you know.
All right. Let's kick off the bad side with a hat tip to Boston Red Sox outfield prospect Bryce Brentz. He's been forced out of spring training because of a bizarre injury, which we love here.
This is our thing.
On 15 Minutes of Fame. He was cleaning his gun a while ago. Ended up shooting himself. Says he'll be good to go for the regular season. The Red Sox.
I'm so happy that baseball's coming back because we get back into the weird sport baseball injuries, Jim.
Yeah, so I hope somebody somewhere calls him Cheddar Bob or whatever from 8 Mile, the guy who shot himself.
Oh, nice.
Or Plaxico.
Or Plaxico. That's going to be good, too.
But, I mean, you're cleaning your gun and you shoot yourself.
If you're going to clean your gun, folks, remember, 15 minutes of fame, safety tip of the day, make sure it's empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, unloaded.
Yeah, that's a very good call. That should be the first thing you check, to be honest with you.
Should be the first thing you check. But don't check
when you're
looking
checking
into the barrel.
Yeah, when you're checking, don't like
That's right.
I don't think there's one. Just pull the trigger, see if it. No, don't pull the trigger.
Don't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe not the best. Maybe not the best way to go about it.
Probably
but
not. Hilarious either way.
Maybe clean the trigger last.
Yeah, that's.
Once you've cleaned all the other parts, like the part where you put the bullets in.
Right. The more you know.
Yeah.
How about a bad to Mikhail Grabovski, who is being accused of biting another player in a scrum on Saturday? Max Pacioretty says Grabovski bit down on his ungloved finger during the 6-0 Toronto win. Two things. First of all, I got through all of those names, and I thought I did pretty good.
Good work.
Second of all, seriously? Come on. What's with the biting?
Yeah. I mean, this is always a funny one, right? Where it's how could you bite a guy? But if someone puts their hand in my mouth, yeah. If someone's like, like,
come on.
I mean, I'm probably going to bite you. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to bite you.
It's probably going to happen.
And even if just to, stop your hand from getting further.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to
all
barf
the way
on.
Down.
Would you rather be bitten on or barfed on?
Well,
I don't know. Tough call.
It's too bad that someone would have to make that choice.
It really, someone should hold a charity event or something. North Americans against biting in pro sports.
There you go.
Build schools to teach people
with
about not biting each other.
Right.
I think that's the way to go. All right, finally a bad to David Beckham.
Right.
He was in an H&M ad recently, not wearing much. And I hate to break this to you, Jeff.
What?
But it turns out he was using a butt double.
What? You're kidding
me. David Beckham using a butt double.
Why would he do that?
The company said, because they had to come out and make a statement about this, obviously. They said he did most of his own stunts.
Yeah.
But he had a tight schedule.
I bet you it was tight.
Super tight schedule.
Super tight.
Way better looking schedule than most guys had for that day.
Way better.
So he couldn't be there for all of it.
Right.
Okay. I don't know really what to say about this. I didn't see the commercial.
Oh, of course not.
Just in my dreams.
Yeah,
but how long would it take to just turn around for a minute?
You got the front?
Yeah. We're going to need some back shots from you, David. So
could you just...
Maybe they're just like, ooh, I don't know, these soccer guys.
Maybe he just doesn't turn left, and he's like, oh.
Maybe.
Maybe that's his
style. We live in a strange world where that's even something that someone would see the commercial and be like, wait. And they would make such a fuss that a company
has to,
an international company, would release a statement.
That's fantastic. Imagine being the PR person for H&M. It's like, oh, I went through 18 years of schooling to put a news release out on David Beckham's arse.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm on TV finally. Yeah. Oh, really? What are you talking about? It's
nothing.
It's not even going to be on TV, actually.
Don't turn on your TV, Dad. Don't turn on your TV.
It's actually, I thought it was going to be, but now I'm not. Sorry, bye.
Yeah, never mind. Goodbye. Yeah. Well, folks, the punchline this week is got to be the Super Bowl blackout. Hilarious.
Yeah, reports say the blackout was caused by the failure of a device meant to protect the power supply at the Superdome.
Huh.
It wasn't someone bumping into a switch or something crazy like that. It was the device that was supposed to stop power outages.
Right.
The power company at the center of this story says the device was installed to protect the stadium from a cable failure and performed well during earlier events. Listen, relay. You had one job to do today.
Screwed it up.
And you screwed up.
At least they
for
got it
34
back on.
minutes.
Yeah, after 34 minutes. That's pretty good. Good for them getting it back on like that.
Yeah. 34 minutes, though. That seems pretty high for a power outage.
You think so? You had a lot of experiences with power outages at giant stadiums, have you, Jim?
I mean, I'm just saying that it probably would have taken less than 34 minutes to go up and change each ball. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not. But
yeah, but can you just imagine one relay? That's it. But
you just gotta love the thing that they brought in specifically to stop thing from happening.
Totally.
Be like if you're like, I got pretty drunk last night. I'm gonna wake up and have a Tylenol so I don't get a headache. Then you get the worst headache of your life.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, well,
that
maybe
doesn't
if
quite
you
work.
take the Tylenol.
That's right. All right, folks, that's our 15 minutes of fame up for, this week. Join us again next week when we get a whole new 15 minutes of fame. In the meantime, I'm David Beckham's underwear. That's what I went with. I could have gone with like 15 different things. That's what I went with.
You could have gone with something else.
Yeah.
But
right? What are you supposed to respond to
his
that?
underwear or his butt double's underwear?
Oh, definitely his. I'm his butt double. That was the joke, Jim. Darn it, I missed it. Hi, everybody.
And I'm Kevin
15
Garnett.
minutes of fame. I am. Oh, and you're Kevin Garnett. I'm David Beckham's butt double. There we go. Now it works. All right, folks. Have a good week.
I'm just an ass.
Nice. That's a good one. I should have said David Beckham's butt double.
I thought that's what you were gonna go with for sure.
With that. I don't know what I was doing there. That's just.
I
That's
was gonna say it,
right
then I'm
there.
like, oh, Jeff's for sure gonna say that. So I started looking at the GABBYs. Like, I gotta do something else here.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, oh, I'm the power thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm the Superdome's new power relay. Is what was going through my head.
Too technical.
Too technical.